Hey, good evening. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're gonna be listening to Pentatonix's rendition of Havana. So, I'm pretty sure I remember this tune, but I haven't heard Pentatonix do it, and I'm not really up to date on a lot of modern music, if you would still classify this as modern. But, you know, I just take music as it comes to me. But I'm not really into what the current trend is in music. I just listen to music that I like, and sometimes that includes new music, a lot of times that includes classics. So, you know, I'm excited to jump into this. I don't really know what to expect. I know this one has Matt in it, and I think Matt is a really fine addition to the group. So I'm just really excited to jump into this, and I hope you are as well. So without any further delay, let's jump into it. Oh! Woo! Oh, chills.
In Havana, he took me back to East Atlanta. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. There's something about his manners. Havana.
He didn't walk up with that, how you doing? He said there's a lot of girls I can do it.
Oh, but I can't wait for
I'm doing forever in a minute.
that summer night.
And Papa says he got my love in him. He got me feeling like, ooh, I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like, ooh, and then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh, na 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 na.
Havana, oh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, oh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana, oh, na, na.
We just graduated fresh on campus, oh. He's fresh out East Atlanta with no manners, yeah. Bump on a bumper, like a traffic jam. I was quick to pay that girl like Uncle Sam. Ooh, I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like, ooh, and then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh, na 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 na.
Havana, oh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, oh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana, oh, na, Havana, oh, na, na.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. It was so smooth. The groove was so consistent. I'll point it out when we hear the sounds again, but it's so good, dude. The trumpet at the end too. While it's not the cleanest trumpet I've heard, just that dampened trumpet sound that Kevin was making. I haven't heard a trumpet with that kind of embouchure before. So that was really, really nice, honestly. I really, really dig that. And just like I mentioned, the groove, the flow, and that bass line, oh, it was so benign, but it had a silent intensity about it. Yeah, dude. Let's jump into the analysis so I can pick it apart a little more. Immediately, boom. Just a strong bass note in, but nothing outside of the mezzo piano or medium soft volume dynamic, and just letting it fall and taper in that fall, immediately setting the tone of this groove. Oh, and then Mitch just coming in with his very precise vocal run, and it's just so clean. This entire arrangement is so polished, and you can tell right from the beginning. I love that. Ugh. What a great growth there. And these sounds from Kevin are so crisp and so simple. These very gentle snares and this velvety kick drum. Oh, everything just fits so well within the context of this atmosphere that they're building. And it's so good, dude. Yeah, and the sound Kevin's doing. It's so weird, but I can't say for sure that I know how it's produced. It's either inward of, or it's outward of. But whatever it is, it's soft, and it's underneath everything to where it's only there to provide this additional layer to all of the sound that's already happening in not just the leading melodic line, but in the harmonies, in the atmosphere being built, and that particular sound just contributes as an accent to this atmosphere. Nothing that you should be particularly focusing on, but it's a really nice texture added to everything else that's happening. Really good choice there from Kevin.
Havana, ooh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na.
Notice how they're just staying within this dynamic, this mezzo piano or medium softness, where there is a little bit of growth, but it doesn't really leave this dynamic of whoa, Havana, ooh, na, na, whoa. It just stays within this dynamic, but you still feel this ebb and flow, this push and pull of the music. It doesn't feel static at all. There's always this feeling of intrigue, seduction, and momentum happening within it. And they're just constantly pulling you along, and I really love this kind of feeling and this tonal atmosphere of the piece.
Oh, but my heart is in Havana. There's something about his manners. Havana, ooh, na,
He didn't walk up with that.
Yeah, and Kevin just leading into a stronger dynamic into this mezzo forte or this medium loud. Oh yeah, really good stuff there.
There's something about his manners. Havana, ooh, na.
He didn't walk up with that. How you doing?
Oh, when he came in,
He said there's a lot of girls I can do it.
Yeah, I love
but
that.
I can't wait that
I'm doing forever in a minute.
that summer night in
And Papa says he got Milo in him. He got me feeling like
Oh, they're all so sexy here, just really leaning into this air of seduction. It's just, it's so clean, dude.
Milo in him. He got me feeling like I knew we went out.
Just looking at all of them, Kirsten and Kevin especially, are just leaning into their chairs. They might as well have a wine glass in their hand and a cigarette in the other, just further adding to that level of intrigue. Oh my gosh. Just the set, the lighting, everything creates this air of seduction. And that's obviously highly intentional. Their patterns, their colors, their eyes aren't very big and expressive. They're half-lidded throughout much of the piece. And I'm sure that's also intentional. It fits within that aesthetic. And when they were focusing on Kevin's hand there, just kind of indicating the smoothness, this not stagnancy, but this more benign nature that, like I mentioned, has this silent intensity underneath this seemingly affable front. That affable front is just a superficial layer. But underneath that, if you pry open those layers a little bit, you'll find something a little bit more captivating, a little bit more dangerous. But it's so compelling, and I love that.
Me feel like
Oh!
I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him.
Like, how they're phrasing this is so important, too. Instead of, I loved him when I left him, it's, I loved him when I left him. It's very relaxed. And the way that their tongue is moving is very relaxed. Their mandibles don't have much tension and aren't really being exasperated to create really big, very open or powerful sounds. It all fits within that mezzo piano, mezzo forte dynamic, that medium area of the whole volume spectrum, dynamic spectrum. So just the fact that everything is so relaxed. Their tongue is creating the words, but it's so relaxed, and it just further feeds into this air of seduction, and the sound quality reflects that, and it's so good, dude.
Got me feeling like ooh.
Even the beatboxing matches that as well. Really great stuff.
And then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh na 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 na.
Havana, ooh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana.
That bass line is so smooth, dude. So gentle and fits so well in here.
East Atlanta, na, na, na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana.
Oh, I love that. It just adds something that we didn't expect. It fits within the tonal center of the piece, the atmosphere they've built. And something I really do love about it is because we didn't expect it, it further feeds into that atmosphere, that level of seduction of this is something new that we didn't expect, and it still fits within that seductive overtone. And in a book I read of Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction, he indicates that something that really captivates us as human beings is not revealing all of your cards, especially when you have a certain level of lustful attraction to someone. And I use this example whenever I do talk about seduction, but it's just such a prime example of it, so I'm going to repeat it. In the opera Carmen, where Carmen herself is a gypsy woman and has her ragtag team of other gypsies, and they go around and just explore, have a really good time. Carmen is a master at seduction, and she finds the lead character, Don Jose, who is essentially saving himself for Micaela, who is his primary love interest at the beginning of the opera. But Carmen sees that as a challenge and seduces him, and it works. And the way that she seduces him is creating this very powerful air of mystery. Here's a little taste of who I am, but I'm not even going to reveal 10% of everything that I am. Here's just a level of excitement, adventure, intrigue, but I leave so much more room for you to further explore should you choose to. But that's more compelling, and it's not even just an invitation, it's a tangible, intoxicating aroma that just completely envelops him and drags him away from Micaela over to her. And the tragedy of the opera is that because it works and he follows her to the ends of the earth, she becomes bored with him because he reveals his love for her, and that's no longer attractive to her. She saw him as a challenge, not as an actual love interest. And feeling used, feeling betrayed, feeling emotionally frustrated when she begins chasing after someone else, he ends up killing her. Spoiler alert. But this is just that air of mystery is so important when seducing an audience, when seducing someone else. But in this particular case, this aesthetic that they're going for, this atmosphere, to seduce an entire audience is to play on these basic principles of human nature, which is be very relaxed, have this strong feeling of confidence, even if it's just a facade, even if it's just a superficial layer, just making sure that you're presenting outwardly this relaxed nature. You're not stressed, you don't have any tension. Your actions are very slow, which is what makes also magic very compelling, where if a magician does something very, very slow in front of your eyes and you're still baffled by it, that's all the more reason to be even further captivated in their art, because you think that you've witnessed every single action go by very slowly, when in fact all of that was just a diversion, all of that was just a setup for the real magic. And that's what's so compelling about it. That's what's so compelling about this performance, is the fact that they've set this tone, this atmosphere, and we're already captivated. But when they add in different elements like ba-da-da, where we haven't heard that so far in the piece, it's so great because it's something new. It reignites our initial intrigue to them. And not to say we ever lost it to begin with, but The moment we start, we get that flame lit under us. And as we go through the piece, that flame burns. But the moment they add something new, it's just adding even more fuel to that fire and just constantly keep feeding us exactly what we want. New captivating intrigue that we didn't expect, and we like that feeling of the unknown. There's a danger to that. Human beings have an intrinsic fear of the unknown, but when it's presented in a way that's palatable in an era of mystery and seduction in this particular instance, all of a sudden it becomes very captivating. Because it's an unknown, we do feel that sense of danger, but because it's palatable, we can actually engage with it in a way that's fun, in a way that it doesn't feel like our lives are in imminent danger, but it could be, depending on who it is that we're choosing to trust. And that's the thrill of Seduction. And they're doing such a great job leaning into that aesthetic, that atmosphere. Really good stuff there.
We just graduated fresh on campus. Oh.
Yeah, and in this bridge, you just feel exactly what I was mentioning.
We just graduated fresh on campus. Oh. He's fresh out East Atlanta with no manners, yeah. Bump on a bumper like a traffic.
Oh, I love those triplets. I want to hear that again. And also, this bass line is so velvety smooth.
Fresh on campus, oh. He's fresh out East Atlanta with no manners, yeah. Bump on a bumper like a traffic jam. I was quick to pay that guy like Uncle Sam. Ooh, I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like ooh, and then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh na 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 na. Havana, oh na na. Half of my heart is in Havana, oh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana. Havana, oh na na.
Yeah, and just these builds in the beatbox. It's just such a flow, and it just carries this foundation for the rest of the piece to move. It's so, so good.
My heart is in Havana, Havana,
Yeah, and what I mean by this trumpet here is I think some of the best trumpets I've heard belong to the beatboxers Hiss and Wing. Both are from South Korea, and Kevin's particular embouchure in his trumpet here feels much more vocalized, where his trumpet here feels very relaxed. It's not as tight as a trumpet sound, but I really do love that because, like I was mentioning, that relaxed feel really invigorates and charges this atmosphere that they've built. So the fact that Kevin is doing this particular trumpet here, even if this is the only way that he can make the trumpet, which I'm sure he can modify if he chose to, but just his trumpet here and how relaxed it is and how beautifully vocalized it is. And he's nailing each of these notes dead center in the middle of the pitch, so it's really satisfying audibly as well. But just how relaxed it is, and it just fits this atmosphere so well. And just to go from this vocal line into this trumpet, this piece is just so well connected through the atmosphere and air that they've built together, and it's so good. It's so good. They've mastered this. And his vibrato is so gentle at the ends of these phrases. Listen to that again. Really great ending there. It doesn't immediately stop on a dime. It just lets Scott have that Havana, oh, na, na. And it just lets you stew in that final note, where another really great element of Seduction is, like I mentioned, it doesn't reveal everything. There's constantly something else, something more that you want. It's an insatiable appetite. where you want to stew in this a little longer. You want to stew in the music, the atmosphere, the air they've built longer. And for him just to end like that, where he doesn't sustain the note, the group doesn't sustain their atmosphere beyond the arrangement. It's just Havana, una, na. And it's not sharp end, but it's a pretty quick exit to the piece, and it leaves you wanting more, and that's exactly what they're going for here, and I love that, dude. Oh yeah, that so good, dude. So clean. The arrangement was so consistent. They've mastered that atmosphere. They've mastered the style, the look, the sound. It was just so good. Really great job, Pentatonix. I really dig that. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I may not heart or reply to all of them, so please know your comments do not go unnoticed, and I do take them into consideration as I make future videos. My live streams are currently Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so if you guys would like to stop by and say hey or ask any questions about myself or the channel, I'd be more than happy to be there for you guys. My voice studio is officially open, and there's a link in the description below to set up a time to meet with me over Zoom and start voice lessons. So if you guys are interested in taking voice lessons, I'd be more than happy to meet each of you and to set something up in order to pursue whatever vocal goals you might have. I want to take this time to appreciate all of you for being here watching these videos, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.